Welcome to the Showtime All the Time podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Bickmeier, the Executive Director of the Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority. Our special guest today is someone I've known for a long time in a couple different capacities, but I get to call him a colleague now, and sometimes I refer to him as Uncle Anthony, sometimes Brother Anthony, but we all know and love him as Anthony Romanello, the Executive Director of the Henrico Economic Development Authority. Welcome.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for. I'm honored to be on your podcast. This is a big day for me.
Well, appreciate that. Glad to have you. Now let's see, Anthony. You are a proud alum of Hermitage High School.
I am.
UVA, VCU.
Right.
Did I miss any schools or anything?
No, you got them all. You got them all. Graduated from Hermitage a long time ago. Came to Henrico in the 8th grade, and we came back a few years ago. Henrico's home.
Oh, that's great. A longtime New York Yankees fan.
Yes, suffering Yankees fan.
Yeah, tough one with the playoff loss and the elimination.
I can't talk about it.
Sorry about that. But you again served in a variety of capacities over your career. 34 years. 35
yeah, next year
years?
will be 34 years. I was 21 years old with the city of Richmond back in 1992.
Wow.
So local government has been all I've done since I graduated college.
And came to Henrico in 2016 as a deputy county manager, and then into this role in 2019. Correct?
Exactly. That's right.
So let's jump right into the EDA here. What's your elevator speech on what the EDA is all about and what it does for our community?
Yeah, Dennis. The quick elevator speech is that the EDA exists to bring new businesses in, to help our existing businesses grow, and to market the county, to tell Henrico's story to the world, in particular to the sectors that we target. We have a very diverse economy in Henrico, and we have a handful of sectors that we target, including corporate services, life sciences, advanced manufacturing, professional services. Those are the sectors that we target. International companies, we have a new initiative there. So the key thing in that regard is that we're choosy, which is that, and you never see when a project comes in and we'll say, no, that's not really for Henrico, because that never becomes public. But we want to make sure that the development that we bring in, the development that grows here, is consistent with the Board of Supervisors' vision for the future of our county.
Yeah, well, again, you talk about the diversification of our businesses, and I'd like to hear a little bit more of that, but you tend to couple that with some amazing stats that I always hear you guys recite. Can you share some of those stats?
Yeah. Thanks for the softball. The county's economy is incredibly diverse, hitting all sectors. Really, the only we don't have smokestacks in Henrico, but we're the retail center for the region. We're the job center for the region. 200,000 people work in Henrico. 60,000 of them are like you and I. We live and work in Henrico. Another 140,000 people come in here every day to work. So we're the employment center for the region, the retail center for the region. We have advanced manufacturing, life sciences, as I mentioned, and as part of that, when you look at our overall gross county product, it's about $30 billion. Wow. And so what I like to point out is that if we were a country, we'd be one of the top 100 largest economies in the world. We're the fourth largest.
Wrap your head around that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to think about $30 billion of all the goods and services that are happening in the county. I mean, obviously, from where I sit as well as where the SEA sits, having 95 and 64 drive a good part of our economy, and just the fact that we have board supervisors, county manager, a county government that understands business and helps businesses get to yes. And so, we look at that big number, that 30 billion, as how we can continue to grow the economy on a macro level. But one thing I'll tell you is that we've got 7 Fortune 1000 headquarters, which we're very proud of. There's 12 in the region, 7 are here. But we work with all businesses, no matter the size. I remember during the pandemic, worked with folks who had indoor swimming pools that were trying to understand the ever-changing COVID regulations, to small businesses, entrepreneurs, to our mid-sized businesses, as well as the companies like Amazon and Meta and Hewlett-Packard and some of the international companies that call Henrico home.
But we also know of people who had malls who tried to make swimming pools, and we're going to touch on that
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
later as well. But again, so many initiatives that you and your team have. Henrico tomorrow, the placemaking and marketing that you guys do, international opportunities with
Yeah.
international companies, digital infrastructure, new business growth. As you talked about, business retention, obviously, which is of utmost importance. Navigating things like COVID and post-COVID. The list is long for you and your team. How do you prioritize what you guys focus on, and how do you guys manage all of this?
Well, I'm really blessed, Dennis. We have a team of 11 people, including myself. We have our board adopts a strategic plan. We have a work plan every year, and that really focuses our efforts. One of the things coming out of the pandemic, the world, we tested the internet and it worked. As long as, if you have Wi-Fi, knowledge workers can work anywhere in the world. So why not Henrico? Why not live and work in Henrico? And so our Henrico Tomorrow program that you mentioned is about the future of office, the future of work. So we've been working with our corporate services sector, with owners of office buildings to help them position their offices so that they remain commute worthy. Because now with so many companies on hybrid schedules, and it's really a mixed bag out there. We have a number of companies that are in the office 5 days a week, on down to one company that told me they require folks to come in 2 days a month, and everything in between there. So making sure that space is commute worthy, which helps our companies grow, but also helps us bring in new corporate headquarters, new investment. And then a piece of the Henrico Tomorrow program is our Global Business Gateway, which we opened up on Cox Road. It's part of the Gather co-working space. Mm-hmm. And that's for established international businesses who don't have a foothold in the United States. So we have 4 of them in there today from 4 different countries: India, Ecuador, Korea, and Armenia. And we're really excited to have those 4 in there. We've got space for several more. And the idea is that they'll come here. We'll roll out the welcome mat. We've got services to help them with legal services, translation, taxes, all of that, in hopes that those companies will grow right here in Henrico.
That's great. And on top of that, we've tried to pull you guys into the sports market as well, and the sports tourism realm, which we're going to touch on right now. But I do have to say, with us, we're the new kids on the block, and we've been able to lean on Anthony and your team to help us get framed up and set up and establish our how we do our business, how we run our business and things. So we're very appreciative of that. And people ask me all the time, okay, what is this SCA thing? I'm like, we're very similar to the EDA. It's just we do it with a sports and entertainment twist to it. I mean, we go out and prospect to bring business in. We try to win business. We try to keep our business here from a sports tourism standpoint and entertainment events. So you've seen what we do for, I think, the last 2.5 years or so. Kind of what's your perspective on the Sports and Entertainment Authority and creating this type of authority for our county and the benefits that it has for our county and the region? And also, we're the first of our kind in Virginia, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just can't say enough about it. I mean, the impact is huge. We're seeing that in the numbers that you put out, Dennis, and that the Virginia Tourism Corporation puts out, Richmond Region Tourism puts out, with the number of visitors and the economic impact of those visitors. I think with the county's intentional effort to focus on sports tourism and tourism, hiring you, and then you building the team that you've built, that's really part and parcel with what we're doing. And I was in the Henrico Sports and Events Center, your building, just the other day, and just happened to notice there's all these businesses that have signs. Like, the EDA doesn't have a sign. How do we not have a sign in this building when you're bringing tens of thousands of people through? There's going to be a CEO who's coming for some kind of travel ball that's going to go in your building, and I want him or her to see our logo. So I think that that it's definitely going to be absolutely a part of growing Henrico's economy. And what I love to say about the best thing about sports tourism is people come here, they spend their money, and we don't have to educate their children. So it really helps the county's economy, and I think really adds, that as the county has invested in indoor facilities, outdoor facilities with all the ball field complexes that we have, the Sports and Events Center. We have, yes, these are for sports tourism, but they're also community facilities, which the residents of Henrico, the residents of the Richmond region, can enjoy.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, again, as we look to develop other facilities, add things to our portfolio, we always got to think, what's the benefit for our residents first, and certainly our athletes and their ability to participate in sports. That we're trying to grow the next generation of not just sports fans, but participants as well.
I mean, if you think about, Henrico really has the hallmark of being a forward-thinking community, and in 1996. The county was given 2,300 acres of land right by Richmond International Airport. Henrico spent $45 million, and which is about $100 million in today's dollars, and White Oak Technology Park was created. Today there's tens of billions of dollars worth of construction out there. And about 2.5 years ago, we opened the Henrico Sports and Events Center. We made a $50 million investment of taxpayer dollars, and it's already paying dividends with the numbers that you're seeing. So I think with some very calculated risks by our Board of Supervisors and county management, the citizens are really reaping the benefits of that throughout all aspects of our economy.
Yeah, no doubt. In our hospitality community, any chance I get to compliment them, because they've bought in on this vision of sports tourism as well. So the hotel operators, the restaurant operators, they see it. They see the young people in their uniforms and things, and so we're very appreciative of them. And we've been on a little bit of a hiatus here on the podcast. So one number I do have to share that came out in September was the visitor spending from around the Commonwealth of Virginia, the study that gets done every year by Virginia Tourism Corporation. And Henrico was, again, the 5th largest in the Commonwealth at $1.9 billion in visitor spending, which is absolutely amazing. And the 3 leaders in the clubhouse, they are all in the D.C., Northern Virginia market and Virginia Beach. And here's Henrico. And I hear you say a lot, we punch above our weight, don't we?
Absolutely. And looking at me, that's a big thing when you punch above my weight. But I mean, if you think about it, you've got the Washington airports and then you have the beach. Well, Richmond Airport is great, but we're not the nation's capital, and we certainly don't have a beach. But there's a lot of reasons for people to come here and to stay here and to bring their families here.
Yeah, and I said we're the new kids on the block, but in a short amount of time we've been able to partner on a few things. So a little over a year ago, we looked at an opportunity and the potential to do something special with the former Crossings golf course, and the EDA purchased that golf course, and we've been working with some private sector partners to try to make that vision come to life. Can you give your view of that vision? And again, this is an example of how economic development and sports tourism can align.
I think when you and our partner Gift Breed with Pros Inc. came to me and we started talking about buying the golf course, it was, I'm going to mix my metaphors, but from day one it was a slam dunk for me. And I think because of what having that asset, particularly when we renovate it and get it to a PGA championship level course, what that asset will do for sports tourism and being able to market the county generally. It's different from the county's experience with Belmont, and First Tee has done a fantastic job over there. It's a great 12-hole course with the 6-hole chip and putt public golf course, very reasonably priced. Put a bunch of balls in the woods just last Sunday playing there with my son. What we're going to have at the Crossings is a championship level public golf course, which will help us recruit PGA events, college events, and also offer it as an amenity for folks who are going to go to the Sports and Events Center or other sports venues in the county. I can see where you and your team can market it as part of a package. Definitely. And the Crossings had fallen into disrepair, but it's a diamond in the rough. I mean, the bones are good, and the renovation to lengthen the course and get it to PGA standards is just one more thing that will put Henrico on the map. And working with our other partners in the area who have adjoining property to turn that into a premier resort area is really going to enhance all of the things that you've done in the Virginia Center Commons area. It's right across 295 from the Best Products Reimagined, which I know we'll talk about in a minute, And I think it's absolutely something that we need to have to, just to keep Henrico the premier community that we are.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, I think it's where it's located, to your point, and I do think it's just another piece of the puzzle in the whole region that's missing from the portfolio. And again, hopefully, as we work every day to hopefully we can deliver that asset back to our community. And like you said, we have a few other things that we're involved in, together or with a much larger group. So I'm going to throw a couple of them out at you just to get your reaction. Let's start with the big one. You mentioned Best Products Reimagined and the potential for an arena-anchored mixed-use district there. Yeah,
we're in the midst right now. You and I sit on a panel that the county manager put together. We're reviewing proposals now from potential partners who want to bring that development to fruition. It will be arena anchored. Great opportunity for mixed-use development, retail, restaurants, hotel, apartments, residential, all around the arena. When you look at that site, about 100 acres at the intersection of 95 and Parham Road, the arena itself will have visibility on 95. It'll be a gigantic sign that will tell people to come here to see this concert or NCAA regionals or whatever it is.
Or some ice hockey. I got to keep making a plug for ice hockey tennis.
But I think that project and getting that back on track is just going to be so good for Henrico, and the response to the Best Products Reimagined has been really phenomenal. I mean, I'm really excited where the county's going to take that property.
Yeah, same. I think as you referenced, the committee that we're serving on, there's a lot of energy, and it's been a fun process, and again, hopefully we'll continue down this road and be able to put something together for everybody. We mentioned mall earlier, so I'm going to throw two different mall projects at you. Let's start with Regency Mall and Nova Aquatics, pickleball, the transformation that's happened out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell anybody who'll listen to me that I wish we had more old malls because what we've been able to do at Regency and Virginia Center Commons has just been phenomenal. When I came to Henrico in 2016, one of the first assignments that John Vitulkas, our county manager, gave me was he introduced me to Mark Slusher and Rob Hargett. They had just bought the Regency Mall, they're local developers, and they were trying to re-envision the mall as a retail center. And as things changed and we got into the pandemic, they've now shifted it to more of an entertainment center. The county's done what we call a TIF by agreement, which is they're able to do tax increment financing by returning some of the incremental tax revenues that they've received. But Nova has an Olympic-sized pool facility. They're enlarging the facilities so they can be even more competitive with regional and national meets. There's an indoor pickleball facility, soon to be an outdoor pickleball facility out there. A number of restaurants there. Henrico County Adult Education is there, as well as about 600 apartment units. So it's become a community unto itself. And the thing about Regency is that for people who grew up in this area, there's a lot of nostalgia about Regency. Before the big regional malls were built, a lot of people in Richmond would go there to see, the Tallheimer Santa, Milner Road Santa, and so being able to preserve that but reposition it into a modern entertainment restaurant venue, I think has just been really phenomenal. They've got some space that they haven't leased, so I think we're still going to see even more out there. But I give Rob and Mark a lot of credit for sticking with that project and evolving with that project. I know you mentioned malls, but another real hallmark in Henrico has been to see the continued reimagining of Willow Lawn. Willow Lawn was built in the 1950s, and it's had many different iterations as a shopping area, most recently with some high-density rezoning that the Board of Supervisors just approved. So they're going to go vertical and create it into more of a lifestyle center. I didn't mention at the beginning, Dennis, but that's such a big part of our work because a good part of the western part of the county is built out. And so we're seeing more and more redevelopment projects. Regency, Virginia Center, Libby Mill. We're going to, it's already been in the media, but there'll be an announcement later this year about the former Genworth site on Broad Street. There was some additional zoning action on Reynolds Crossing, also on Broad Street. There's just some really exciting redevelopment projects that are happening. And the reason that happened, there's two reasons that happens. One is because of the support that the business community gets from the Board of Supervisors and county management. And two, because the business community has a lot of confidence in Henrico, and they want to, they want to do business here, and they don't mind doing hard projects here because they know we're going to be right there with them.
Yeah, well, as you said, we always try to get the yes and try to be as flexible as possible. So we'll move from the Tuckahoe district over to the Fairfield district to another former mall project in Virginia Center Commons. We've talked a lot about the Henrico Sports and Event Center on this podcast, but you get to see it from a kind of a different side as well with all the other development that's going on around it.
Yeah, I remember when that mall was built, and then went through a series of ownership changes, and the last owner before the county bought it was an absentee owner. Didn't care about the property. There were potholes that you could drive a car into, and it really became an eyesore. Really became a blight on the community. So the county stepped in, bought the property. Sold portions of it off to our partners at Rebke and Stanley Martin, and then set aside some land for the Sports and Events Center, which again is right on Interstate 95 and is one of the premier indoor facilities on the East Coast that you and your team manage. And I can't tell you, I wish I could take credit. I can't, but I can't tell you how many people tell me what a great facility it is and how much time they spend in there bringing their kids, and it's just a really well thought out venue. I think, Dennis, once you and your team started getting, NCAA tournaments here, the A10 Women's Basketball Championship and the Volleyball D3 National Wheelchair Championships. I mean, these are things that really are putting us on the map in a different way. And what I like about it is that you're bringing people from all over the country in to see Henrico, so that when they're thinking about the next place they want to expand, the next place they want to invest, I think we're going to be top of mind because of the experience they have here.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think there's two sides to that too. It's not just the folks that are coming here and experiencing Henrico and all that we have to offer, but the other thing too is we get to work on some other fun events too. We have a PGA Tour event in our county. We have NASCAR race in our county that we get to work on and bring people here. But what's great about it is, and we had this discussion recently about the A10 Women's Basketball Championship and the footprint of the A10. It's not just along the Atlantic coast now. They're in Chicago and St. Louis. They're talking about Henrico County, in those markets, on the news and things like that. So it brings a whole other element to what we do to try to market Henrico as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got national TV exposure for the NCAA tournament. We have national TV exposure for the NASCAR tournament, and then we have 6 hours of TV on the Golf Channel for the PGA tournament. And, over and over again, people are hearing about Henrico and the Richmond area as, a great place for sporting events.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So we're getting down to the end here, and I just want to transition again. 35 years, I think you said it was 34 years in public service, and recently announced that you're going to try something a little different in the not too distant future. I should note as well, you have authored 2 books. You're out speaking a lot. MC things. Adjunct faculty member at one point. You have family all over the world, right? You have
I do.
Kids everywhere.
I do.
Grandkids. Yeah. Look to the future. What's next for? Let's start. What's next for the EDA, just overall, and then what's next for Anthony?
Yeah, I've got 3 more months. I've given the EDA my resignation. I'll leave in mid-January. There's a number of things to close out. There's some key things that we're working on with the county. Some key property acquisitions that I can't talk about publicly, but that are going to continue to really help us grow our economy going forward. You and I have been working very closely on the future of PGA golf in Henrico, and there'll be an announcement on that coming very soon that I'm really excited about. And we continue to work a lot of really interesting projects: advanced manufacturing, office headquarters, life sciences. We were working a massive pharmaceutical manufacturing project, which is really fun. And of course, as I mentioned, we have a great team that works all those projects. 34 years in local government. It's all I've ever done since I was 21. And I thought maybe I'd jump off the cliff a little bit. It's kind of a short cliff, but I'd jump off the cliff and try to do something different. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Hopefully a little more teaching and writing. Maybe go do some nonprofit work. I'm still trying to figure all that out. And it's going to be hard to leave. And we're not leaving the community. We're just leaving the job. But it is going to be hard to leave local government after all these years. I've had I think 4 different localities, all in Virginia, but 4 different localities, and I couldn't ask for anything more for a career in public service.
Oh, it's been a pleasure to be a teammate. That's
absolutely.
For sure. So, but I want to express too, just on behalf of our organization, again, we wouldn't be where we are without you guys. You put a roof over our head and gave us some places to work, and they're really nice. So
happy
thank
to
you.
Share a building.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So on behalf of the SCA, we appreciate that, and certainly appreciate everything that the EDA does, and again, the opportunity to partner on projects that we've mentioned here. So one of the things that we do here on the Showtime All the Time podcast is talk about a sports memory or a piece of sports memorabilia that you have that kind of like a little bit of show and tell. So you share, and then I'll share, and then we'll close things out.
Yeah, Dennis. So I lost my dad year before last. He was 95 years old. He grew up in New York, so he was a New York Giants fan, baseball and football. And even to his dying day, he still lamented the Giants leaving New York and going to San Francisco, the baseball Giants. When I was a child, I lived in Southern California, and my dad took me to Dodger Stadium. Now, he shifted from being a Giants fan to a Yankees fan, so I'm a recovering Yankees fan. But we went there in 1983, and he bought me this hat, which was the 25th anniversary of when the Dodgers had moved to Chavez Ravine out there in Los Angeles. And, of course, going to any baseball game with your dad is a great thing. But one of the best parts of it was that Johnny Bench played the Reds. It was Johnny Bench's last season, so he was at third base. He wasn't catching anymore. But I got to see a Hall of Famer play while going to a game with my dad. And I've got this hat from 40-some years ago that is very special to me. So so when you mentioned that, I thought that's what I had to bring.
That's perfect. Yeah, I love the story. And certainly there's so many stories in baseball of generations going to games and stuff, and dads taking kids and grandkids and things like that, and it's still a great part of the game. It's a great part of sports. I mean, just to be able to share that. Obviously, you've done it with your kids. I've done it with mine. So to be able to have those shared experiences in sport is really, really special. So I'm not sure if your dad would have liked me or not, because the Dodgers were my first employers. I did my internship with them. So that was pretty cool. That's how I ended up in LA, and never saw the fact that I would be living out there for 18 years. I'm a small town Ohio kid. I had one leg back in Ohio, but thought I'd come kicking and screaming back, but I didn't, which then actually kind of ties into my next story or my presentation. So living in LA, in the shadow of Hollywood, I guess. I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but did you know I was on an episode of Suddenly Susan with Brooke Shields?
I did not know that.
Yep. September 17th, 1999. And the guest was none other than Mr. October himself, Reggie Jackson.
Wow.
So this signature of this script is your guy, Reggie. And I'm going to pull these out because you don't see these anymore unless you go into like some really old school diners and stuff. Remember the old guest checks that you would see in diners and everything? So I'll give you a quick background on, I was working for the Angels at the time. My boss, Tim Meade, Reggie, good friends. Rod Carew was our hitting coach.
Oh, wow.
And Rod's agent was a executive producer or producer on Suddenly Susan. I don't know how any of that stuff works, but Reggie was going to be on this episode. So I forget the gentleman's name, Rod's agent, and called Tim. So like, I know you know Reggie. Sometimes he's not the easiest to, you're there all day shooting, like hours and hours. So would you come up and kind of just hang out with Reggie and kind of keep him entertained during some of the downtime? So Tim asked me to go, and next thing I know, they put us in the episode.
Oh, wow.
So Tim and I end up in the episode, and my part was to be standing at at the cash register in the restaurant, and Reggie's getting ready to leave the restaurant, and I recognize him, but I have my guest check. I'm just trying to pay my bill. He thinks I'm asking for an autograph, so he grabs this and signs it. So I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Reggie Jackson. We did 6 takes on that thing.
That's amazing.
6 Reggie Jackson autographs right there. So you can Google the episode of Suddenly Susan as well. You can barely see me in it, but
I hear it's the best episode by far.
yeah, I don't know. I think it got canceled shortly after that. I'm not sure, but no. I love sharing these memories.
Did you get Brooke Shields?
I did not
autograph?
get Brooke Shields' autograph though, but we were there all day. I mean, I think we were there probably 14 hours. I think it was dark when we got there and dark when we left for sure. So, but cool experience. So
very good. What a great story.
Yeah, but yeah, sports has this way of bringing us all together and having all these memories. So, but with that, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode of Showtime All the Time podcast. I want to thank Anthony for being here and giving us all the insight on the Economic Development Authority and all the great things that you guys have going and the impact that you're making on our community. So thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. Great to be here.